Do you know anyone that has been abused?
I don't think so.
No, I don't know anybody that's been abused.
I don't know anyone who's been abused.
Actually, my college roommate was abused. She came from a very dysfunctional family, which she ended up getting into dysfunctional relationships with men throughout her life, and ultimately she was murdered.
The truth is, 1 in every 3 women will be beaten by her husband or lover at least once in her lifetime.
Do you know one?
I want to tell you about my daughter, Brooke Thompson, who was 22 years old and was a victim of domestic violence and was murdered at the hands of a male roommate. She never knew the danger she was in. She was in a cycle of domestic abuse that she didn't understand and we didn't understand. And she came from a loving Christian home, so this just is baffling to all of us. How does this happen to a sweet, innocent girl?
Fear, shame, and secrecy are some of the main reasons why a victim would not report abuse. Oftentimes, a perpetrator will threaten the victim with greater abuse, loss of her children, loss of economic security.
Since 1998, the Dwelling Place has been a place of refuge for hundreds of women. The Dwelling Place is a shelter ministry for women who have been battered, providing services to their children and help for men who want to change.
There was no hope. We were headed for divorce and divorce papers were filed and everything. Having that been said, then now, today, we're more hopeful than any time that we ever have.
Women and children who come to the shelter are encouraged to stay for 3 months to allow time for initial healing and resting in Christ, as well as begin to make long-term plans for their next steps. After the 3 months, families have an option of staying an additional 6 months in the transitional shelter.
I believe if it were not for the dwelling place, I would have lost my life. The dwelling place gave me safety. They were able to evacuate me from the environment of my crisis and brought me into a safe place where I could receive healing, restoration, and beyond that, I received the unconditional love of God from the dwelling place.
The Dwelling Place is a Christ-centered program that addresses spiritual and physical needs of women and children in the Christian community. Their goal is to bring an awareness and education of abuse to the church.
Abuse is, unfortunately, very much part of the life of the church. Pay attention to the stories that you are told. Read between the lines a little bit, and you're going to find that abuse is very much the storyline in many people's lives.
When I first came to volunteer at the Dwelling Place, I did not realize that there was an issue of abuse in the church. And through coming to volunteer in the house and being involved in the support group with the women and hearing their stories, I realized that abuse is everywhere, even in the church.
There are multiple ways that the church community can get involved in the lives of women and children who are suffering from the effects of domestic violence. One way is to hold the abuser accountable. Another way is to prevent further abuse from happening. And another way would be to provide a safe, supportive network for a woman so that she can go forward and she can talk about the family secret and she can be heard and understood and therefore receive help in the ways that she needs it.
The Dwelling Place really offers their services to the local church, that together we can be a community where people can find healing.
I have enjoyed being a part of the Dwelling Place because I get a front row seat in seeing women's lives change.
I'm in school, Kurt and I are in counseling. Now it's just more hope than there's ever been, so I thank the Dwelling Place for that.
I just miss my daughter so much. I think about her every minute of every day. My heart just aches. And knowing what I know now, I just really wish she was here today because she could be saved from all of the abuse. There's so much help out there. And I regret that she just wasn't aware of it.
Now that you know what's happening behind closed doors,
Bye, sweetie.
you cannot ignore it.
By the most conservative estimate, each year 1 million women suffer non-fatal violence by an intimate. Do you know one?